Senator Ron Wyden was on Jake Tapper's CNN program yesterday, basically telling us the subtext of what all of this spying by the CIA on the Senate Intelligence Committee is all about. Here is Ron Wyden on Jake Tapper's CNN program.
Joining me now is Democratic Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, who serves on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. So Senator Feinstein, as the chair of the committee, has taken the helm on this issue. You obviously have been heavily involved as well. Here's you questioning CIA Director Brennan on January 29th at what the time seemed to be a rather cryptic issue.
Pause it. This is another example of Wyden using an open forum to get Brennan to show that he will not tell the truth in an open forum. He is asking about the legal constraints on what the CIA does, statutory constraints. Listen.
Does the Federal Computer Fraud and Abuse Act apply to the CIA? Seems to me that's a yes or no question.
I would have to look into what that act actually calls for and its applicability to CIA's authorities.
It seems clear now you were referring to this. Brennan responded to you by letter saying that the act does not, quote, prohibit any lawfully authorized investigative, protective, or intelligence activity of an intelligence agency. Feinstein made it clear today she thinks the CIA may have violated the Constitution. What do you think?
Well, Mr. Brennan also did say, Jake, that in fact the computer fraud law does apply to them, and the reality is those computers in effect belong to the CIA, but they were reserved exclusively for the committee's use. And what this goes to, the fundamental question here, is whether the Congress of the United States is going to be able to do effective oversight over the intelligence apparatus. And again, it is not just this instance, but again and again, the intelligence leadership has in effect thwarted the ability of Congress to get the information it needs to do that oversight.
Do you think that by searching in these computers and doing what the CIA admits it did back when Brennan met with Feinstein and Saxby-Chambliss, her Republican counterpart, do you think that was a violation of the Constitution or the Fourth Amendment or any other federal law?
I think the facts that were laid out by the committee chair, Senator Feinstein, today are very credible. And yes, the reason I asked that question that you put on tape, Jake, is I think it raises very troubling questions. And I also, before we go any further, want to make clear what I think is the bottom line. I'm becoming convinced that the CIA is simply fearful of the interrogation report being made public. And I think it's time for the American people to get that information. They ought to get it consistent with making sure that national security information is not contained, but the American people have a right to know.
Brennan, when he was asked about this today, he denied hacking into Senate computers. That's not really what he's being accused of doing, though, is it?
I think that Senator Feinstein laid those facts out in a very straightforward manner. What I'm concerned about, again, is whether or not the agency is going to understand what the President of the United States said, and that is vigorous oversight is necessary, and in fact the Constitution speaks to it. We've got to be able to do that.
There you go. We're going to be talking to Mark Mazzetti about this tomorrow, but this is a big deal. It's a big deal.